what exactly? I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we can dissect exactly how these things happen, and we were briefly talking about it before. The only direct correlation that I can see, because there was an extensive study that was done, I don't remember the organization, but it kind of correlated from Columbine all the way till today, what the similarities are, and there's two rules of thumb that come to mind. The first one is that all of the men, because while it is, obviously it's been predominantly white men, but it's men. It's white men, it's Hispanic men, it's black men. And the thing that is universally true about these shooters is that they have terrible relationships with women. That is indisputable. And there's a rage there that exists at the world. There could be a number of reasons for that. And then the other correlation is the fact that all of these things have happened since the dawning of the internet. And I think the fact that we have drifted so much as a society in terms of our isolationism is so much more common. People can literally spend, as we were saying before, 10 to 12 hours every day on this thing. And especially during the adolescent years, the teenage years where the brain is developing, to actually be ingrained in that, I mean, it has to have cognitive effects on your development. And the fact that, Zuckerberg has admitted as much, that the algorithm is designed like a slot machine to keep you going, to keep you on there, to keep you rage liking and rage commenting and all those things. Out of 300 plus million people, there are going to be outliers that are not only going to get violent, but they're going to get violent in such a way that is going to be an utter shock to society that doesn't make any sense. But we're, like Jen said, we're not addressing the core reasons as to why we're here. We're trying to put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound, and it's not going to work anymore.
Right. And look, definitely I do agree that there is contributing factors of people that are lonely, I guess, that are isolated from others, maybe even pathologically, that there are issues with, mental illness. There's issues with, obviously, like we saw in Buffalo, racism and people getting radicalized online with far-right ideology. There's all of these different contributing factors. And it seems like almost a kind of a crapshoot to go and go and diagnose all the singular issues. But what connects everything is the easy access to weapons. Because again, all these other countries have similar issues, but they do not have the problem of mass shootings the way that we do here in the United States. So I think that's the thread that connects all of that. But you're right that all of that stuff also contributes to this. But we here in the United States have a very, very unique problem with the amount of mass shootings that we have. And of course, it's correlated to the amount of guns that we have in this country.
Right. So in my mind, like, here's what I'm thinking. Like, when you live in a country where there are so many guns out there, one would think maybe we should take care of our citizens a little bit better so they're not miserable, desperate, depressed, and like just live miserable lives. Like when you look at our happiness index kind of thing, like when you go and talk to people that live, let's say, in Denmark, they don't have what we have here either, in terms of just miserable people that are just suffering and whose lives just really suck because they don't have a safety net for people. And I think that when you have people that are so desperate or working 3 jobs or whatever, everybody is just struggling to live here. And I think that plus access to firearms is a very horrible combination. And my thought is, at this point, the ship has sailed on access to firearms. But maybe what we can control is how miserable and enraged everybody is, because it's like that is something that we do have a lot more control over at this point. And I just like, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about making it like a political blame game. And I just don't think people look at it's a big picture problem. That's my point.
Yeah. And let me just add, I think that this is, like you said, a big picture problem where there are multiple points that need to be attacked. Yeah. Obviously, the access to weapons is one of the major issues. The other, of course, is corruption in our government, thanks to the NRA, thanks to lobbyists, thanks to corrupt, politicians on both sides that take lots and lots of money from these industries. But the other problem, of course, is what you were mentioning too: capitalism. Capitalism crushing regular, everyday people, making people desperate. Part of what you were saying is the disconnection from regular people, right? Well, when you are in a very individualistic society and you are working multiple jobs and you see everybody else as sort of a rival for resources, you've been told that the individual matters more than everyone else, your individual liberty, your individualism, and that any sort of collectivism is inherently bad, working together with your community, working together with your neighbors, working together as a society, to solve problems together. Well, that does isolate people. And of course, there's the consistent political battles with pitting different groups against each other. Earlier today, I saw Paul Gosar and Candace Owens immediately trying to pin this particular shooting on transgender people. Can you imagine transgender people?
Oh my God.
Just nothing, absolutely nothing to do with it. In fact, they had taken photos from a completely different, randomized Redditor who happened to be transgender and posted this saying, oh, this is the shooter, this is the shooter. And then Candace Owens is saying, oh, it's mental health and this or mental illness. And there's people that are cross-dressing and that's the mental illness part and we're not addressing it, blah, blah, blah. And she's sitting there and she's just basically lying and promoting an incredibly harmful anti-trans ideology. And so that's the kind of thing. We have paid grifters as well.
Oh, yeah.
that are dividing people. And so we see all of this stuff played out where we are being pit against each other. Groups are being pit against each other. The working class is being pit against each other. And, what capitalists like to benefit from that by being able to distract us and pick our pockets. And, the whole problem just continues to metastasize. And so we cannot solve this issue until we go and solve all those different factors that are feeding into this issue. And understand that is an incredibly tall order for a system that is dysfunctional and broken as ours.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.